Morgan Powell on the roll spike, and Cahoon's going to send it back. Nice tip off Oberly. And Mackenzie Heft, strong cross hit. That is kept in play by JoBeth Oakes. Another attack from Mackenzie Heft, and that time it's into the net. Bamberger was there to receive, but it fell flat on her arms. Kiowa County pulls up 14-11. This will put Macy Meem back to serve for Hodgman. Morgan Powell keeps it in play, set up for Mackenzie Heft, and she tips right over the arms of the blocker. Cahoon keeps it in play, and that time Mackenzie Heft was ready for that attack, and Hodgman County's Taryn Hausman was called in the net. I think her shoulder grazed as she turned away to play defense. Nicole Ballard will be back to serve. And Cahoon is blocked. I'm not even sure that went over the net though.
Yeah, that's like a little Kiowa. That puberty.
Ballard on the serve once again, 16-12. The home team always wants to do well with their home crowd, but especially so tonight on their last regular season. And timeout's going to be called by Hodgman County. Kiowa County leads 17-12, and we'll be back after the short break.
With GTM Sportswear, be memorable.
We are Cox Brothers Barbecue.
Big brothers, big sisters.
Be united.
We are Lions. Freddy's.
Max Fitness.
Be a team.
We are Falcons. Meadowlark Hills Retirement Community.
In the boardroom or on the field, brand your team for success with
GTM Sportswear.
Let our dedicated team show you the styles, designs, and colors that will brand your team for success.
Welcome back to the final home game for the Kiowa County Lady Mavericks. Kiowa County leads Hodgman County 17-12, and if you're just joining us, Kiowa County is going to play 2 games tonight. This game against Hodgman, they will rest a game, and then they will come back after that game with Mineola. Hodgman on the back set, and it comes right back at her. It's Taryn Hausman on the right side attempt. Nicole Ballard is back to serve once again, and Kiowa County is creating quite a bit of separation, now leading 19-12. And just long for Mackenzie Heft. She saw that opening along the back line, you could see on the replay, but she just overshot it. Cahoon on the serve. Good up by Hochet. It was a little close to the net, but Kiowa County keeps it in play. Oh, but Morgan Powell is into the net. Cahoon is still back to serve for Hodgman County. They hope to chip away at Kiowa County's points before they get into the 20-point range. Outside set. Beautiful line hit from Mackenzie Heft. That's something she's improved with a lot this year, is her ability to place the ball where it needs to be placed to find the opening. You see there on the replay, they were covering hard cross where she's been placing it, but left the line open. Serve from Overly is picked up by Hodgman. Nicole Ballard sends a free ball over to Hodgman. And it's going to be sent back out to Bamberger, who hasn't had much time in the front row this game. Oh, that was a really nice attempt by Kiowa County. Natalie Stewart keeping it alive, and Morgan Powell rather, came and batted it down. Oh, Taryn Hausman, just the top of the tape on the net, misses her serve. It's going to put Mackenzie Heft back for a 21st point with the serve. And Bamberger, strong right cross. When she connects with the ball, if there's not a block, there's not a lot you can do about it unless you're in the exact right spot. Beautiful serve from Carly Eckhoff. And Janessa Zinger places it right in the middle of the defense. That's a tricky spot to place it because not only do you want to put it there kind of soft, you also need to have some speed on it so that the defense can't move into position. Hannah Brown with a service error. That's going to send it back to Hodgman County, but Kiowa County does lead now 22-17. This will put Bamberger in the back row. She's a strong server, but they need her in the front row right now with her spiking. Nice up by Morgan Powell and sends it to Janessa Zinger, who is blocked, but Tasha Tuttle, another senior for Kiowa County, keeps it alive. Kiowa County is really struggling to get it over the net. They send a free ball, sent outside to Cahoon. Oh, and she barely tips it off the arms of Natalie Stewart. Stewart had nice placement for a hard hit, but that soft hit she couldn't transition off of. Soft hit from Janessa Zinger. And Cahoon ends up in the middle, but Lingenfelter's able to play off that. That time it works in Janessa Zinger's favor. It's one thing she's improved on this year as a sophomore. She was a little bit more timid last year and especially to start the season, but she was blocked 3 or 4 times in the last couple of points and she just kept swinging. Allie Hochet on the serve for Kiowa County. They just lacked 2 points in this first game. And Cahoon sends a little bit of Zinger's medicine back over, finding the spot in the middle. Number 21, Sydney Masters, a junior for Hodgman County, back to serve. Oberly, nice up for Ballard, sends it right back to her. And a back set this time to Hausman. It's a little awkward. Kiowa County's trying to work around each other. And Morgan Powell keeps it in play. Janessa Zinger on the kill. There was a lot happening in that point there. Kiowa County was out of place several times, but they were able to get back where they needed to be. And an ace to end this first match. Kiowa County takes it 25-19 in this first game against Hodgman County. We will be back to bring you game 2, and this is Kiowa County Media Center.
Over 40,000 deaths from breast cancer occur each year. Survivors are 3 times as likely of having a recurrence. Lend your support and learn more about early detection at www.cancer.org.
Welcome back to the second game of Kiowa County's final home invitational of the season. For this first game, they are taking on Hodgman County, and they just defeated them in game 1, 25-19. If you're just joining us, we mentioned earlier that Kiowa County is only going to be playing 2 games tonight. They're going to take a break after this match with Hodgman County, and then they will be coming back after that against Mineola to end the regular season. I'm joined now by Media Center Director Grant Newhold.
Hey Whitney, good to be here.
This is Carly Cahoon back to serve for Hodgman County. The Media Center's coming off of a really large production of the WEPAC game. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. WEPAC was this last weekend down in Coldwater, and we had a great time down there, a lot of fun. An awesome crew went down to produce the game, and I think it went really, really well. We got a lot of great compliments from some of our viewers.
That's great.
We also just got home today from the governor's debate in Wichita.
And we're going to take a timeout. Kiowa County calls a timeout, trailing 0-4 to start this game 2. And we'll be back with Kiowa County Media Center after this break.
With GTM Sportswear, be memorable.
We are Cox Brothers Barbecue.
Big brothers, big sisters.
Be united.
We are Lions. Freddy's.
Max Fitness.
Be a team.
We are Falcons. Meadowlark Hills Retirement Community.
In the boardroom or on the field, brand your team for success with
GTM Sportswear.
Let our dedicated team show you the styles, designs, and colors that will brand your team for success.
Welcome back to game 2 of the first match with Kiowa County and Hodgman County. It is senior night here at Kiowa County. There are not currently any seniors on the court, but Kiowa County is going to be recognizing Latasha Tuttle, Hannah Brown, Maddie Cannon, and Sydney Hedrick. Bamberger on the outside, and that time she blocks herself on the net.
Wow. She hits hard. Every time she swings, she's swinging hard.
She really does, and in game 1, we were discussing how her setter has not been feeding her very good sets tonight, so she really hasn't made a lot of connections, and that's worked in Kiowa County's favor.
Yeah, they're pretty lucky that she's not able to actually connect with some of those.
Ace serve from Kiowa County, and Ballard is back to serve once again. Kiowa County slowly chipping away at Hodgman's lead, 2-4. And once again, not a good set from Hodgman County, and the double block from Kiowa County sends it back to their floor.
I think she's getting kind of frustrated at this point too, because she's really wanting to connect, and she's just not getting that look that she's really wanting.
She is, and as a senior, this may not be her last home game, but it is her last regular season game. So, especially anticipating sub-state on Saturday, this is where they need to work out those kinks. And this handle from Hodgman County is going to be a kill for Mackenzie Heft, and they have tied the game back up 4-4. Ballard on the serve for Kiowa County. And Heft is called in the net for Kiowa County. That's a rare call on her part. Usually she has good distance with the net. Number 12, Taryn Hausman on the serve for Hodgman County. Sent outside to Mackenzie Heft. And Hoshe keeps it in play from Bamberger. And that's going to be called 4 hits. Mackenzie Heft did not cross the threshold.
She got a nice look, she just didn't quite get it up and over the net like she wanted to.
Beautiful ace serve, fell right in front of Nicole Ballard. Hausman is back to serve once again for Hodgman County. You'll notice that a couple of these Hodgman County girls have a jump serve, and that's not something you'll see from Kiowa County. Fulton at least used to have a rule that you have to get 9 out of 10 in the court with the jump serve before he'd allow you to.
Did anybody ever do that, Whitney?
I don't believe so. He mostly just talked you out of it before you even tried.
Okay.
He's not a fan of the inconsistency of the serve, but really if you watch Bamberger, she's got a consistent serve from it.
Yeah, and she's got a nice little knuckleball on that thing when it's coming across. It's not just a still serve coming across there. It's wiggling all over the place.
Yep, and that's what they usually refer to as a floaters, because it looks like it's going in a steady line, but it's moving a lot, and then when it connects with your arms, it has the ability to shank off the side.
Very effective.
Oberly with the service error into the net.
You know, if she would have jumped, she might have cleared the top of that.
That's true.
No, I don't know.
I think, though, that her issue there was that she didn't have a high enough toss, so jumping wouldn't have solved it. Hodgman County picks it up, and Bamberger does a swing to the middle to try to keep it in play. Ballard shoots it to the back corner, and Bamberger's set up again. She's having to move so much using her energy just to find the ball, let alone hit it.
Still not getting that look she's wanting, but still making something happen out of it. She's very athletic and able to adjust to that low set, come back and dink it over to a spot right in Kiowa County's court.
She is an incredible athlete and has a lot of experience as a senior. Hausman on the, or I guess that was Carly Eckhoff on the serve. Hodgman's libero barely sends it over the net. Brown keeps it alive. Set up this time to Bamberger and just a little bit short.
Again, she's getting frustrated because this is happening over and over again where she's back there, she's ready to go, and then the ball is just not where she's expecting it to be.
The coach that time was kind of motioning for the setter to get it over a little bit for Bamberger to be in better placement. Service error for Kiowa County is going to give it back to Bamberger on the back row. Kiowa County trails 7-10. Ballard nice up for Hannah Brown and outside to Janessa Zinger, and she finds that placement right in the middle of 5 defenders.
It doesn't always have to be the hardest hit, it just has to hit the floor, and Janessa found it that time.
Strong cross hit from Sydney Masters, and that time Janessa Zinger mishandled the ball.
You can see here on the replay that the set's there, she's taking an approach and just timing again is off a little bit, and she's still a young player, she's going to get that timing down more and more all the time. She's going to be really effective in years to come.
And she's already improved on it. I think sometimes it can get into her confidence that when she struggles, she repeatedly struggles, but
yeah,
she's been able to shake it off more than she used to.
And she's bouncing back right there already with a nice hit.
Pick up by Natalie Stewart, going to send back outside to Janessa Zinger, and that's going to find a kill.
That's a confidence booster right there. Finding the back line, they thought it was out. They took the chance, and she found the back line. Nice kill from Janessa.
And that's the thing about volleyball. You don't have time to have an attitude because it's 3 points down the road. If you're still thinking about something else that happened, you've missed many opportunities. Ali Hochet steps back to serve for Kiowa County.
Fulton's good about picking them up, too. He doesn't let them get their heads hanging down and all disappointed. He's a very good coach about encouragement.
Zinger on the cross-court spike. And Cahoon reaches back for it. Hochet keeps it alive. Free ball sent from Kiowa County. Hodgman's going to try to make something of it. And a straight-up block from Ashlyn Oberly. Beautiful block by her. It's still hard to believe that she is just a freshman for Kiowa County because she really plays like a more mature player.
She was in the right spot at the right time, and that shows that she's really come a long way.
And an ace serve from Ali Hochet. And that ace serve will tie the game at 11. Middle set up for Masters, and Lingenfelter picks it up on the back row. A cross hit from Zinger, close on the net.
That happens all too often where two girls are going after it, and they both at the same exact time give up on it, and it falls right in between them.
And lots of times you'll hear a coach yell at them to talk, but sometimes they're both talking. If they're both saying the same thing, nobody's going to take it. Soft hit over the net by Oberly. That's picked up by Masters, or Hausman rather. Tip over from Hodgman County, and Ballard is in the net. That's another unusual call. Earlier, Heft was in the net, and now Ballard. Neither one of them get called for that very often. Kiowa County still trails 11-13, but they're hanging in the game. Soft hit from Oberly. And a tip was called off Zinger. Macy Mim back to serve for Hodgman County, and there is going to be a substitution. I think Randy Fulton's trying to change it up a little bit with Kelsey Francis being checked in for Ashlyn Oberly. Give her a time to rest on the bench. Middle set up for Zinger. Beautiful hit. That's not her normal placement at the 2 position in the middle, but she finds a nice left hit. You can see on the replay, she splits the defense.
A lot of power coming off of that swing, too. It was not just a little dinky hit. That was a lot of power.
And middle hit is not an easy place to be. Hausman with a strong right-hand swing. And that was a tool off the blocker from Kelsey Francis. Attempt at a block from Carly Eckhoff, off her arms and found the floor. Libero Morgan Powell back to serve. Kiowa County just trails by 1 point now. Little close to the net. Powell's able to keep it in play. And that puts Mackenzie Heft back on the front row. She starts that off with a kill.
We've seen her do that time and time again this year. She's got that thing figured out to drop it right in the center of everybody.
Powell with the serve again. Nice up from Bamberger outside to Cahoon. Off the block for Kelsey Francis. She's improved a lot this year. Bamberger does pick up Heft's hit this time. O'Shea keeps it alive. Back to Heft. Woo. And she finds line.
Right down the line. That was beautiful.
Macy Mim was in a good place, but it was just so hard that it went straight off her arms and out of bounds. You can see on the replay.
Straight down the line with a lot of power.
You couldn't have been closer to the line than Mim was there, but just a hard hit. Powell on the serve. Kiowa County is now up by 1. Good defense by Allie O'Shea. She was a little scared there that it was going to come back and play in her position, but it was out of bounds.
I think if she could have made a play on it, she was going to, and just missed and got lucky that it was just outside the line.
Powell on the serve. Kiowa County's up 16-14. Cahoon with the soft hit over. Shoot outside to Heft. Heft is on fire tonight. Doesn't matter where the ball's coming from, she's getting a good contact.
Yeah, she's pumped up right now.
And Hodgman County calls a timeout. They're obviously frustrated. Kiowa County's pulled ahead 17-14. This is Kiowa County Media Center, and we'll be back after this break.
The weather just seemed a little bit unusual.
The sound was just deafening.
You can hear and feel things just breaking up.
School was gone, my church was gone, my town was gone. What are we going to do?
We could rebuild. We could start over and rebuild a whole community. Let's rebuild the town. Let's work together. Let's try to do it right.
The spirit of the community, we will rebuild.
Maybe we do have to do it different.
To be able to make a difference that can be felt for generations, it's very exciting.
Come and experience the story in Greensburg.
Over 40,000 deaths from breast cancer occur each year. Survivors are 3 times as likely of having a recurrence. Lend your support and learn more about early detection at www.cancer.org.
Kiowa County and Hodgman. Kiowa County leads 17-14 is what prompted the timeout from Hodgman County. Mackenzie Heft is just eating them alive right now.
Yeah, she's got it. She's gotten in a rhythm. Even after that timeout, she's still in that rhythm. I think that coach called that timeout specifically to kind of break that from her. no such luck on their part, and she's going to just keep hammering.
She may not be a senior, but she certainly is one of the leaders on this team. A lot of experience.
We do have a lot of youth on the side of the court for Kiowa County, which is very promising with how well they're playing and how young they are.
That's very true. They're only losing 4 seniors tonight, and actually 2 of their seniors don't even suit up for the tournament, so they're not losing a lot of leadership. And another timeout is called by Hodgman with a very, very frustrated coach. I would not want to be in that huddle. 19-14, Kiowa County leads. We'll be back after a short break.
Coldwater, Kansas, the way life should be. Our beautiful lake, country club golf course, and outstanding outdoor recreation add up to an easygoing, enjoyable way of life. And affordable lakefront property is available now. It's an outdoor lover's dream with beautiful sunsets, brilliant night skies, and easy access to all the town has to offer. Visit us.
And we're back from a break. We just had a ball come into the other side of the court for Kiowa County. I wanted to stop and take a second here to let everybody know that there's Operation Christmas Child collection boxes happening tonight at the game. There's boxes on the way into the game that you can drop things into if you're still coming by. These Christmas boxes go to children around the world who might not have Christmas otherwise. So please bring hygiene items, school supplies, and small toys for the boxes tonight. And again on Friday during the football game. So let's make sure every child has a Christmas to remember. The First United Methodist Church in Greensburg has a collection center for donation boxes at the church. And so if everyone would just bring a single item, it would make a lot of difference.
Hodgman County is called in the net, and that's going to give Kiowa County their 20th point of the game. One really neat thing about the Operation Christmas Child here in Kiowa County is that Kiowa County's volleyball team has Joy Lashana, a player who was in an orphanage in Ukraine growing up, and she actually received Operation Christmas Child boxes each Christmas. So
oh, that's really cool. I didn't know that.
She talked about it at the Methodist Church on Sunday and just talked about how neat it was, especially to receive a picture of a family and to know that somebody cared enough about her to do that.
Yeah, I mean, oftentimes we give this not knowing who it actually affects, and to see somebody actually with a testimony to say, I got one of those, it was a big deal, that's really cool.
And Kiowa County, as a community, I think sends over 1,000 boxes each year, so.
It's good to hear about the good things that's happening in our community.
Kiowa County is going to keep it alive, and that will be called a lift by Kelsey Francis. She tried to do a back set for Mackenzie Heft.
There's Fulton telling her about how to get that ball nice and lifted off the top of her fingertips. Again, encouragement, always positive. Rotation issue on the side of Hodgman County?
Yes, I believe so. I think Macy Mim was a little out of position thinking she had the serve next, but Carly Cahoon steps back with the serve. This is the last regular season game for all the teams here, so tomorrow the bracket should be out for sub-state. Kiowa County is going to be traveling to Spearville this weekend, and unless I'm mistaken, I believe Spearville has an online broadcast of their own. At least they do during the regular season, so you might look online, find a way to watch the sub-state tournament this weekend. Soft tip off the left hand from Mackenzie Heft. It almost looked like she was in trouble there for a second, but she's able to make a play off of it.
Yeah, a nice little dink over the net to find the floor. Again, a very strategic move on her part, not trying to hit everything that comes at her.
And game point now from Kiowa County, and Bamberger's going to stretch it out another point.
She finally got that set she was looking for, and she's very effective with it.
It's good, though, that Kiowa County's double block was still in place. They were able to take a little bit of power off of it. Taryn Hausman has an ace serve for Hodgman County, and slowly but surely they're chipping away. It's a hard place to be with game point, but Kiowa County is going to call a timeout, try to gather troops here and finish this game. Kiowa County leads 24-17. We'll be back after a short break.
Coldwater, Kansas, the way life should be. Our beautiful lake, country club golf course, and outstanding outdoor recreation add up to an easygoing, enjoyable way of life. And affordable lakefront property is available now. It's an outdoor lover's dream with beautiful sunsets, brilliant night skies, and easy access to all the town has to offer. Visit us on the web to find out more. Coldwater, Kansas, the way life should be.
Welcome back. We'd like to thank one of our sponsors, the Centera Bank. We'll get back to the Centera Bank graphic here in a little bit. The game's going to continue on without us.
And Hodgman County is staying in this game 24-18. It's been match point for a couple times now. Nice up from Allie Hochet, and Mackenzie Heft attempting to end this game. Bamberger once again is just keeping it going for Hodgman. Beautiful line hit from Bamberger. Still game point for Kiowa County. Match point, rather. And out of bounds by Bamberger. That's going to end this first game. Exact same score, 25-19, 25-19. Kiowa County puts away game one, and they will be sitting for a break now and come back after that game for a match versus Mineola. So check back periodically.
Do we know when the senior night recognition is happening?
I am not exactly sure. I want to say it's usually before the last game of the night, but I don't know that for a fact. So also stick around for that.
I think what I've heard is it's going to start right before the Kiowa County Mineola game, and they'll pull the seniors out onto the crowd, recognize them for their hard work, and make sure that they're honored for all the work that they've done on the volleyball team this year.
And we'll be back after this next game to bring you the senior recognition and the last game of Kiowa County regular season. This is Kiowa County Media Center bringing you Kiowa County Sports.
Freddy's, Max Fitness.
Be a team.
We are Falcons. Meadowlark Hills Retirement Community.
In the boardroom or on the field, brand your team for success with
GTM Sportswear.
Let our dedicated team show you the styles, designs, and colors that will brand your team for success.
Coldwater, Kansas, the way life should be. Our beautiful lake, country club golf course, and outstanding outdoor recreation add up to an easygoing, enjoyable way of life. And affordable lakefront property is available now. It's an outdoor lover's dream with beautiful sunsets, brilliant night skies, and easy access to all the town has to offer. Visit us on the web to find out more. Coldwater, Kansas, the way life should be.
Your bra does not cause breast cancer. Not the underwire, not the straps, and no, size does not matter. And don't sweat it. Your antiperspirant is also not a cause. While those facts may not surprise you, here's one that might. Only 10% of breast cancer is hereditary, which means 90% is not. Now you can't change your genes, but healthier lifestyle choices can make a difference. Visit breastcancer.org for simple steps that could save your life.
The internet has drastically changed the way we communicate. Are you keeping up with the times? The Kiowa County Media Center can connect you with viewers in markets all over the region, the state, and the world. Our technology keeps us on pace with the high demand of internet video content. Bring your audience from anywhere in the world to your wedding, conference, sporting event, concert, and much more. No one does high-quality video streaming like us. We are the Kiowa County Media Center, leading the new age of communication.
The weather just seemed a little bit unusual.
The sound was just
You
deafening.
can hear and feel things just breaking up.
School was
above
gone,
you.
my church was gone, my town was gone. What are we going to do?
We could rebuild it. We could start over and rebuild a whole community. Let's rebuild the town. Let's work together. Let's try to do it right.
The spirit of the community, we will rebuild.
Maybe we do have to do it different.
To be able to make a difference that can be felt for generations, it's very exciting.
Come and experience the story in Greensburg.
Over 40,000 deaths from breast cancer occur each year. Survivors are 3 times as likely of having a recurrence. Lend your support and learn more about early detection at www.cancer.org.
The reason I live in Ashland, Kansas, I love the outdoors, and I knew I wanted to live in small town USA. And this is beautiful country. Here, I can own my own business, and so can my wife. Ashland provides my family with a safe place to live. No crime, no worries. Living life in Ashland, it's living life at its best. My name is Larry Conrady, and I call Ashland home. Take care.
To be the chair of the Kansas Association of Broadcasters this year. We welcome you to this luncheon and this debate. We'd like to thank both of our candidates for agreeing to be here. We've had a number of years that we've used this very luncheon over the years as a forum for discussion of issues important to Kansans. And we hope that all of you will enjoy today's discourse. Our moderator this afternoon is my colleague Eugene Williams, General Manager of KTWU in Topeka. I'll turn the podium over to him to explain the format and introduce our candidates. Please welcome Eugene to the podium.
Thank you very much, Jim. Get everything situated here. Let me give you the debate instructions as we have developed them. Each candidate will have 2 minutes for an opening statement. Then I will ask questions, giving each candidate 90 seconds to respond and a 30-second rebuttal from the candidate who answered first. We'll have someone down here keeping time for the candidates. All questions have been developed by me. The order of who answers first will change with each question. At the end, the candidates will have 2 minutes in their closing statements in the same order as the opening statements. We ask the audience to please refrain from any applause or reaction actually during the debate. And of course, if you would, at this time, please check your cell phones and stuff to make sure those are in some type of position where we won't disturb the candidates also. When I bring the candidates up, of course, you'll be able to clap and applaud for them being here. So with that, let me bring up both of the candidates, Representative Paul Davis, and then, of course, Governor Sam Brownback. There should be some water under each podium. Absent any fans, I've had that question asked a lot. No fans under the podiums. Okay. I want to say good afternoon to the gentlemen and thank them for participating in this Kansas Association of Broadcasters debate. We earlier flipped the coin, and if I'm correct, Kent, wasn't that coin a piece of memorabilia from the Kansas City Royals? Ah, the Chiefs, okay, all right. Anyway, I want to thank you all for being here. We flipped the coin to decide who would be the person to give their opening statements. And of course, that at this point is Governor Brownback. He won the coin toss. So we will start with an opening statement from Governor Brownback, and then we'll move accordingly. Governor Brownback.
Thank you very much, Eugene. Appreciate that. Thank you for hosting this, Kansas Association of Broadcasters. I've got to start off by saying, go Royals. This is exciting, what's taking place. The Royals are America's team now. Everybody in America is cheering for them outside of Nancy Pelosi's district. That's the only one that's cheering for them. So we're excited about that and hopeful that they can sweep in the series. Thank you for hosting this. You have a big choice to make this fall. The direction for the state of Kansas in the future. And it's an important choice, and you have dramatic differences between myself and Paul Davis. I put forward a plan that's a conservative model. It's lower taxes, it's work requirements for welfare, it's getting our fiscal house in order, it's getting growth to take place, it's investing in our core functions like schools and roads. And we have done that, and we've moved that agenda on forward. And now we're seeing things grow in the state of Kansas and record employment, 4.8% unemployment rates, and just yesterday, poverty index is going down in the state of Kansas according to the U.S. Census Bureau. We are moving in the right direction and getting things done. And that's important for us as a state where we have languished for 35 years. Now, change is difficult, and this has been difficult. And we're moving now in the right direction, but Paul Davis represents an Obama model that seeks to have higher taxes, no work requirements, and to have more government intrusion into your lives. And that's your choice. One of the things that hasn't been talked about much in this race is the selection of judges, because the governor selects judges in the state of Kansas. And that matters, and it matters a great deal. We're seeing now even a case, the Carr brothers here in Wichita, going to the Kansas Supreme Court and was overturned by the Kansas Supreme Court. The Kansas Supreme Court, a very liberal court. Paul Davis wants to continue to appoint liberal judges to that court. I want to appoint judges who will interpret the law, not rewrite it as they choose to see it to be. This is an important distinction between the two of us on who would appoint and how they would appoint judges. And I hope this is something we can discuss here because it's a key issue and it's a key distinction between the two of us. One of the Supreme Court justices even hosted a fundraiser for Paul Davis in her home. I find that wrong. It's something that shouldn't happen.
Representative Davis.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Paul Davis. I'm a lifelong Kansan, a moderate, a 15-year member of my local Chamber of Commerce. I'm also the son of 2 teachers and the parent of a soon-to-be kindergartner. The issue of public education is personal to me. That's why I've been a steadfast champion for our public schools during my 12 years in the legislature. That's why I opposed Governor Brownback's largest cut to public school funding in state history. And that's why I will make restoring those cuts my very top priority as governor. It's one of the reasons why I have the support of over 180 current and former Republican elected officials, 3 speakers of the House, 3 Senate presidents, 3 lieutenant governors, a U.S. senator, and 2 Kansas Republican Party chairs. That's never happened in Kansas before, but it's happening because I have a track record of being able to unite Democrats and Republicans. It's also happening because the governor's economic experiment just isn't working, and it's not going to work. Not only are we trailing our surrounding states and the rest of the country in economic growth, it has plunged our state deep into debt, and it's harming thousands of Kansans. Kansans like Mary from Winfield, who is here with us today. Mary is a single mom and also happens to be a Republican. She provides for her son on a shoestring budget and is proud that she has not had to turn to public assistance for help. But because Mary falls within the bottom 20% of Kansas wage earners, she is paying 50% more in Kansas income taxes solely because of the governor's economic experiment. We have to do better for people like Mary. The choice that we have in this election is about whether we're going to clean up the mess that the governor has created or whether we're going to hit the accelerator, as the governor says, on more cuts to schools, more debt, and a failed experiment. Kansas just can't afford this. We have to go in a different direction, a direction that prioritizes our schools and uses proven ways to grow our economy, and that is exactly what I will do as governor.
First question, Representative Davis, you will be given the opportunity to answer this first. From the economy to education to Ebola, there's an air of uncertainty about the future. What will your administration do to calm the concerns of Kansans?
Well, first of all, what we're going to do is, using the old adage, when you're in a hole, you need to stop digging. The governor's economic experiment, one-size-fits-all experiment, just isn't working. All you have to do is look at the data out there. We are trailing our surrounding states and the rest of the country in economic growth. The governor's own Council of Economic Advisors documented this seven months ago. We are 45th in the country in terms of new business creation. In 2013, there were more businesses that closed shop than opened shop. We've had 3 credit downgradings in just over a year. This isn't working, and it's not going to work. But the governor says that he wants to hit the accelerator on what we've been doing, and we know what that means. It means more cuts to schools. It means more dollars taken out of our proven job-creating program, our transportation plan. I believe we need to end the experiment. Let's freeze the tax cuts where they're at on January 1, 2015. Let's get our fiscal house in order, and let's restore the cuts that have been made to our public schools, because strong public schools are the very foundation of a stronger economy. Business leaders like John Moore all across the state have told me that the best thing that we can do to move our economy forward is to have the very best public schools, and that's why I will make restoring cuts my very top priority as governor.
Governor Brownback.
Well, I wish he hadn't voted for the cuts in the first place then. The cuts he's talking about are the ones that happened in the Parkinson administration, that the administration cut state support for K-12 education and then put one-time Obama stimulus money in that place that went away the next year. Those are the cuts he voted for, and then I've put money in every year. I have increased state funding for education every year I've been in office. And then listen as well to the rest of the plan he's putting forward. The plan is for him to raise income taxes on you, on the person at his table. His first plan is to raise taxes on people that make $15,000 a year, raise their income taxes. That's what he's proposing, because we've cut income taxes on everybody in the state of Kansas, and his first step is to say, if you're making $15,000 a year, your income taxes are going to go up. That's not any way to grow. Now, he can be critical of my plan all he wants to be. We've still got record employment in the state of Kansas, and his plan is to raise your income taxes. And I just ask you, is that the way you grow an economy? By raising your income taxes? It's not. We started off with one of the highest income tax rates in this region, 6.45%. It's at 4.8% now. We took the tax off of small business to create growth, and it has. Record number of new businesses filing in the state of Kansas, and small businesses expanding. Record employment, 4.8% unemployment, one of the lowest in America. Those are data points you can rely on, and that is what is happening in Kansas, and raising taxes isn't the way to grow.
Rebuttal, Representative Davis.
Governor, you're trying desperately to rewrite your record, and you're trying to rewrite mine as well, but you know it's just not the truth. I have been a champion for our public schools. The Republican president of the Goddard School Board is here today supporting me because she and so many other leaders in education know who the real pro-education candidate in this race is. And it's ironic that you talk about raising taxes on the poor. That's exactly what you've done. Your first tax plan that you introduced would have raised taxes by 5,000% on people who make $25,000 or less. I think that is morally wrong.
Let's stay on the issue of taxes. This question is for you, Governor Brownback. Every taxpayer likes to hear the term reduction in taxes, but no taxpayer likes to live with a reduction in services. So how will your administration resolve this type of dissonance?
Growth, and that's what we are doing. Look at the data yourself. Growth, 4.8%. And we're having difficulty in general aviation in Wichita at this point in time. No thanks to President Obama, who Paul Davis is a two-time delegate. We're having difficulty here with the president belittling general aviation and saying, well, those fat cats in business aviation, that hurts us. We need to grow. And you grow by getting your taxes off of small business in particular, which we did. We took the taxes off of small business pass-through income, and you're seeing record numbers file in the state of Kansas, and then you're getting people like Patty Bossert in Topeka, who had a temp agency in Topeka, use that extra funds to expand into Manhattan, Kansas. And we're seeing that. And I get examples all the time. I had a lady stop me after church 2 days ago and was saying, with that message that you sent, we started a small business and we're working now. And 3/4 of Kansans work for themselves or for somebody with 10 or fewer employees. And when you recruit big business into the state of Kansas, you can get them, but you've got to buy them. You pay for big business coming into the state of Kansas, and they can change their business model and go somewhere else. Small business is the right route to go, and that's what we're doing, and we're getting growth to take place. And we ended this fiscal year with $434 million cash on hand. We ended with that much money, and we're increasing our investment in schools at the same time. Record levels.
Representative Davis.
All you have to do is take a look at the budget picture. $1.3 billion of debt over the next 5 years. That comes from our nonpartisan legislative research department. You ask the governor what his plan is, he doesn't have a plan. What's going to happen are going to be more cuts to schools and more dollars taken out of our transportation plan, a proven job creator. The governor's taken $1 billion out of the transportation plan so far, and all he's going to do is take more. Just look at the performance of our economy. 45th in the country in new business creation. More businesses closing in 2013 than opening. This year, the rest of the country is double the job growth that we have in Kansas. This experiment is not working, and it just isn't going to work. And it's high time that we understand that and we move forward. Think about how we are going to be able to restore the cuts to public education when we are in $1.3 billion of debt. It won't happen. We have to end the experiment now, and we have to restore those cuts to our public schools, or we will not be able to grow as a state.
Rebuttal, Governor?
Paul Davis is lying. We've invested record amounts of money in schools. Go check with the Kansas Department of Education. We have fixed a pension system that was in bankruptcy zone, that he helped get in the bankruptcy zone in the legislature. And now it's out of the bankruptcy zone. And his method of getting us to grow is raising taxes. We've also done every T-Works project that's been announced and has been said that we would do, including the one recently here in Wichita that I announced that is a nice big project for this area to fix congestion we have in this city. We are moving forward, and what he's saying is data that what he did during the legislature, not what I've done.
Next question. Representative Davis, you'll get a chance to answer this one first. To be the greatest state in the union, what resources should we protect? What resources should we promote? And what resources should we dispense with?
I want to respond first to the comments that the governor just made. So disappointing, Governor. The Kansas City Star recently wrote an editorial called The Relentless Lies of Sam Brownback. The things that you've been saying in this campaign have been disproven over and over and over again, but you just keep on going. You know, I was part of the bipartisan coalition that put that bill together to fix capers. And all you did was frankly sign it. And fortunately, the legislature has not wanted to go down the road that you want to go down, which is going to make the unfunded liability in capers even worse than it was before. What we need to do as a state is get back to the basics. We need great public schools. I'm the son of 2 teachers. This issue is personal to me. All across the state, all I hear from parents, from teachers, from principals, from school board members is the concern that they have never seen before for the state of our public schools, because we have a governor who has never made public education a priority. When he was in the U.S. Senate, he voted against education repeatedly, voted against after-school programs, voted against funding for more teachers, voted against Head Start. As governor, he tried to get rid of early Head Start. He has cut early childhood education, he has cut K through 12 education, and he has cut higher education. There is no way that we can grow and prosper as a state if we have a governor who will never make education a priority, and that is his record.
Governor Brownback?
It's completely false. And why didn't you fix capers when you were when Governor Parkinson was governor? If you didn't need the governor to get this done, because they wouldn't step up and deal with the problem. We had the second least funded pension system in America when I came in. The only state worse than us was Illinois, and thankfully they were there. We'd have the worst funded system in the country. And that's what gets you into bankruptcy. It's the pension system with nearly a $9–10 billion hole. And they wouldn't fix it. They wouldn't deal with it. And also look at where we were in jobs. Last decade, we lost private sector jobs in Kansas. During my administration, we've added 58,000 new private sector jobs in this state. 58,000 new private sector jobs during the time that I've been governor of the state of Kansas. Those are the things that happen. Now, by the way, the question was on resources. I think we need to deal with the issue of water in the state of Kansas, the Ogallala Aquifer, the resources that we have in reservoirs in this state. I think we have to have a good, solid, big discussion about this. I've got credibility in this area. I've worked on the issue of water for years, from being agriculture secretary on through. And I think we have a serious issue here that we need to confront and deal with if we're going to have a future in this state. And it's one of the major issues over our next 50-year outlook that we have. And we've got a discussion going on, and we've had 100 meetings taking place thus far, and we're going to address the issues of water moving on forward. We've done some of it already, repealing use it or lose it on our water law. And we need to do more of that moving on forward, of addressing the critical issues of water.
Rebuttal, Representative Davis.
Well, the governor mentions bankruptcy. That's exactly where his economic plan is heading our state. $1.3 billion of debt over the next 5 years, solely caused by the governor's economic experiment. Economists all across the spectrum, on the left and the right, deemed this the worst economic plan in the country. The conservative Republican Senate tax chair stood up when this bill was being debated and said this was the worst tax bill that he had ever seen. But the governor proceeded recklessly down the road, and we are deep in debt if we don't end this experiment now.
Governor Brownback, this question will be for you first. Let's see if we can roll a whole bunch of issues into one question here. The need for certain types of labor, plus needed changes in immigration policy, times changes in voting rights, equals emotional upheaval. What can you do to change this equation?
Well, you got a lot of questions rolled together in that particular one. I think there are issues that we need to that we need to work on together. What I've tried to do in working with the legislature is when issues like those come up is say, what can we do to move something on forward? What can we do to unite together? There are a lot of difficulties, there are a lot of emotions with those sorts of issues. And we've had a lot of success on moving things forward as a state and dealing with issues like the capers system, like getting some growth happening in the state of Kansas. Those are, I think, important things for us to do, like dealing with issues like water. So I think really what you have to do is just not say, okay, it's got to be this way or that, but a governor has to set a course for a state. And you have to say, okay, these are things that are important for us to deal with. When I came in, we said, we've got to get some growth happening here. We've got to deal with our budget. Our budget problem when I came in was huge. I was facing a $500 million deficit in the next 18 months. We had virtually no money in the bank account. We had lost private sector jobs. We were making half payments to schools. We were cutting our provider payments to Medicaid when I came into office. That was the fiscal situation we had at that point in time, and it was the one Paul Davis helped create. That's the one he wants to take us back to, because Mark Parkinson had raised taxes just before that time period, the 1-cent sales tax. His answer, raise taxes, you'll get less growth, and you're going to be in a bigger budget problem. But it's bringing people together is how you solve these things.
Representative Davis.
You know, when Governor Brownback came into office, we were poised for success. He talks over and over again about how there was no money in the bank, uses this $876 figure, which has been disproven over and over and over again, but yet the governor keeps talking about it. It's one of those relentless lies that the Kansas City Star mentioned. There were over $230 million in the bank when Governor Brownback took office. And you know why? Because people like me voted for a 1-cent sales tax so that we could spare our public schools from another round of cuts, and we could pass a comprehensive transportation plan. Now, Governor Brownback has been more than happy to show up at every ribbon cutting that he possibly can for the transportation plan. But when it was being debated in the legislature, he was adamantly opposed to it. And if he was governor, we would have never had a comprehensive transportation plan, and he's using every opportunity that he can now to attack me for it. Governor, you just can't continue to have it both ways. Immigration reform is critically important to our state, and the federal government, frankly, needs to get their act together and pass immigration reform because it's a crucial part of our economy. We have many immigrant workers in this state that are vital to the economic success of Kansas. I also stand behind the DREAM Act. I think it was the right thing to do. Governor Brownback, when he was in the Senate, was absent when it came time to vote on the DREAM Act, and it failed by 1 vote in the U.S. Senate.
Rebuttal, Governor Brownback.
Well, I guess I will agree with Paul on this, on that number, $876.05. That was what was in the bank account July 1 of 2010, the year before I came into office. But you're right, it really wasn't that. It was actually a $23 million deficit. The prior administration had actually deficit spent and moved expenses to the next year so that it didn't show a deficit, because you cannot legally deficit spend in the state of Kansas. And yet they had done that because the fiscal situation was a complete wreck. And we were looking at no end in sight unless you started to really address the problems we had as a state.
Next question is going to be for you, Representative Davis. The definition of marriage continues to be an issue of public debate. How will your administration respond to the diversity of thought, the diversity of culture, and the necessary sensitivity associated with this issue?
When I was in the legislature and we debated this issue, I did not support the constitutional amendment. I did that because I thought that it would damage the welcoming image that our state has had, really dating back to when we became a state. But the people of Kansas decided that they wanted that in the Constitution, and they did so by a significant majority. And I respect that decision. The fact of the matter is that this issue is out of the hands of politicians. There's nothing that I can do, there's nothing that Governor Brownback can do to change this issue. The courts will decide it. I think a lot of people on both sides of this issue wish the U.S. Supreme Court would have addressed it so we would have some definition. But the Kansas Supreme Court and federal courts are going to have to deal with this, and we will have to go on from there.
Governor Brownback.
Well, I stand with the people of Kansas. The marriage is the union of a man and a woman. They voted that in this state by nearly 70%, put it in their Constitution, put it in the highest document they possibly could. And now you've got judges seeking to rewrite that. Comes back to the issue of judges for governors. This is something that each of us have impact on. Do you want somebody appointing liberal judges like Paul Davis? You want somebody to appoint judges that will stay with the law like what I appoint. I've had a lot of experience on working on the issue of judges. I was on the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee in selecting John Roberts, Samuel Alito. I've appointed judges here in this state, Eric Milgren here in Wichita, Julie Robinson, Carlos Mejia. I worked with administrations to appoint those. It is also something that a governor does, is defend the Constitution of Kansas. In some places, the governor or the attorney general is deciding, well, we're not going to defend the Constitution, even though that's the way the people have spoken. Attorney General Derek Schmidt stood up and said, we will defend the Kansas Constitution. I've stood behind him. Paul Davis has not announced a position. That's not leadership, and you can't duck the questions. You have to actually deal with the issues as they come up, and you can't pick them as governor. They arrive on your doorstep, and you've got to do the best you can. But you can do that. It isn't true that there's nothing you can do.
Rebuttal, Representative Davis.
Well, Governor, your first choice to the Supreme Court referred to funding for public schools as wasteful spending. I wouldn't call that a good selection of somebody who we want to have deciding critical issues. We don't need to be giving the governor more power over the judicial branch, and that's what Governor Brownback wants. But I want to go back to this welcoming image, because if we want to grow Kansas, we need to let people know that we want them here. Governor Brownback was an early endorser of a bill that would have legalized discrimination. And thankfully, the Senate President pulled that bill from the agenda because it would have been terrible for Kansas.
Next question. The phrase Kansas common sense is used a great deal in political circles. What does this phrase mean for you, Governor Brownback?
I guess it means to me what, looking at the world the way my dad would. He's an 83-year-old farmer in eastern Kansas. One of those areas that some people, leadership in the Democrat Party have put down. Parker, Kansas is my hometown, 280 people. But it's looking at the world the way he would. He would say, you know, basically, I'm a conservative, but it's got to work. And that's what I've done in governing. I'm a conservative, but it has to work. And that's what we've done in putting forward plans and proposals to create growth in the state because we weren't growing. Bob Dole is one of my co-chairs, along with Mary Eisenhower. Bob Dole was originally elected the first time at the old 6th congressional seat in Kansas. We now have 4, and we'll be headed to 3 if we don't change the trajectory. Now, we could have stayed on the same old path that Paul Davis wants to take you back to, of high income taxes. And that continued to drive people out of this state because we were losing people to all our surrounding states but Nebraska. Now we're getting people from all our surrounding states but Colorado. But it takes time. Tax policy does take time, but we know from the prior experience, you have high taxes, you're going to drive people out of the region. So common sense to me is doing the things that you know you need to do to get yourself on the right track and off of the wrong track. And that's what common sense means to me.
Mr. Davis.
You know, common sense means to me working together, bringing people together to find solutions that work. That's what I've done for 12 years as a legislator. I've built bipartisan coalition after bipartisan coalition. There's a reason that those 180 current and former Republican elected officials are supporting me, because they know that I'm the kind of leader who will unite people. I've been able to work with Democrats, moderate and conservative. The governor hasn't been able to work with Democrats very well, and he hasn't been able to work with a lot of Republicans. He decided to basically declare war on an entire wing of the Republican Party during the last election. It also means that we bring together people who have good ideas, who have a lot of experience, and we're going to have the most bipartisan administration in Kansas history, because I don't believe all the good ideas are in one political party or all the good people are in one political party. When we set about to put an economic plan together, I asked John Moore, former lieutenant governor, Gary Scheer, another former lieutenant governor, a Republican, to put together a business advisory group. They went out and found seasoned business professionals, economic development professionals, community leaders to advise us how it is we grow the economy. The governor didn't do that. He hired a discredited, out-of-state economist that the state of Kansas paid $75,000 to to design this economic experiment that is a total failure.
Rebuttal, Governor?
Well, Representative Davis and his complete left-wing move in his party, and make no mistake about it, he talks about being a moderate, but he has one of the top 10 most liberal voting records in the Kansas legislature, representing the community of Lawrence, and he's put forward that policy consistently, and that's fine, that's his proposal, he can do that. But that's not the way Kansans go, and he's driven people out of his party. Jan Pauls used to represent, as a Democrat, the community of Hutchinson. She switched parties being a Republican because he had driven his party so hard to the left. And a number of Republicans that support him also support raising taxes, and they support Obamacare, neither of which I support doing, but he does.
Last question before we move to the closing statements. And this is a good one, okay?
They're all good.
What one thing, and of course this will be for you, Mr. Davis, to begin with. What one thing could your opponent say? What one thing could your opponent do that might get you to vote for him in this election?
Well, it's a little too late, I'm afraid. And I think Governor Brownback will probably say the same thing. You know, I had hopes when we had a new governor coming in. And I hope that he would be able to achieve consensus in the legislature. I hope that he would be a strong supporter of education. He came to the legislature to deliver his first State of the State message, and he said in that message that public schools are to Kansas what the national defense is to the federal government. I couldn't agree with that more. It's absolutely right. Our public schools are that important. The problem is, the very next day he submitted his first state budget. And that budget contained the single largest cut to public school funding in state history. And 4 months later, he got his wish. He signed that bill into law, and he declared that it was a victory. Historic cuts to public education, a victory. Well, we've all seen the consequences of this. We've seen the larger class sizes. We've seen the parents paying more fees than ever. We've seen our test scores go down. We need a governor who is going to make education the very top priority. I have that track record. It's a personal issue to me. Our daughter will walk into a public school classroom for the first time next year. And I want her to have the very opportunities that I had growing up here in Kansas. Strong public schools are the very foundation of a strong economy, and that's why we need a champion for public schools in the governor's office.
Governor Brownback?
It's pretty late for that, but there are things I could hear that could move me some. If he'd say he didn't want to raise taxes, actually if he'd tell me where he stood on a lot of issues, he doesn't even have an issue page on his website. He's just basically running against me, but he's not saying, okay, here's what I would do. If he'd say, I'm going to require work if you're on welfare, which he voted against, work requirements that if you're on welfare. And the way out of poverty isn't to give a pittance to people. The way out of poverty is three things. It's work, it's education, it's family structure. And he wouldn't even say that if you're able-bodied, you have to work. If he'd say on judges, I'm not going to appoint liberal judges that want to rewrite the law, or to have the law be as they see it, rather than as it is. You know, I want a judge to be an umpire, not a baseball player in the game. If he would say and stop lying about education. We are at over $13,000 per student. We just had a ranking of our public education system that had us ranked as the 5th best public education system in America, Kansas Public Schools. We've invested heavily. He voted against the last one, $130 million additional dollars in property tax relief and education funding, and of course, Paul Davis votes against it, but he talks the other way. And the cuts they made during the big height of the recession, I respect that, but don't blame me for the cuts you did of the state in education.
Rebuttal, Representative Davis.
Well, Governor, that just doesn't change the fact that you signed into law the single largest cut to public school funding in state history. And I'm glad you brought up poverty. One of your goals when you first ran was to try to do something about poverty. And you certainly have done something about poverty. You've made it worse. We have more people living in poverty in this state than ever before. 1 in 4 children are living in poverty. And you look at the policies that your administration has adopted, And no wonder why people like Mary are wondering what happened to their governor. They need a governor who is going to stand up for them and do something about poverty, and that's what I will do.
2-minute closing statements. We will begin with Governor Brownback.
You know, I just want to quote this from WIBW website. They said, a new Census Bureau report shows the Kansas poverty rate's coming down. Official measurement released last week indicates poverty rate in 2011 and 12 dropped 2.3%. Poverty rate in Kansas stands at 11.8% compared to nationwide average of 15.9%. That's what the facts are, and I would hope you would look at the facts in this election and decide whether or not you want to go hard left, Obama left, with Paul Davis, or you want to continue a course of growth, investment in your core functions, improving the CAPER system, improving the system of the state of Kansas that I've put forward. And I want to return one more time to the issue of judges because it's so central and it hasn't been discussed much in this campaign. It's one of the key things that a governor does is appoint judges. And it's also a key function for as far as which way we're going to go as a state. Now, one of the Supreme Court judges in Kansas hosted a fundraiser for Paul Davis. I can't believe they did that, but they did. This is a liberal court that's overturned cases like the Carr brothers here in Wichita, heinous crimes. Overturned those cases. That'll probably be appealed. It will be appealed to the United States Supreme Court. The United States Supreme Court has overturned the Kansas Supreme Court in a unanimous opinion by the U.S. Supreme Court. It matters what judges you appoint and whether they stick with the law and the Constitution or they rewrite it. This is important. It hasn't been discussed much in this campaign, but it's critical on how you move forward as a state. I will appoint judges that stay within the bounds of the law and the Constitution. And we feel this constantly in this society today. And I ask for your vote in November on that direction and not on an Obama direction for the state of Kansas.
Closing statement, Representative Davis.
Thank you for being here today. When I decided to get into this race, I knew that Governor Brownback would run an ugly campaign with personal attacks. When I didn't think the ads could get any sleazier, I turned on my television this morning and I saw an ad that he is now running linking me to the Carr brothers' murder. I knew one of the victims of the Carr brothers' murder. And Governor, you trying to exploit that terrible tragedy to help get elected is disgraceful, and you ought to be ashamed of it. I've taken a lot of hits in this campaign, but you know what? They're worth it. Because the future of Kansas is on the line, and I don't want to see 4 more years of what we've had. 4 more years of a stagnant economy. 4 more years of raiding our transportation fund. 4 more years of cuts to education, early childhood, K through 12, higher education. As I mentioned, next year our daughter Caroline will walk into a public school classroom for the very first time, hopefully in Topeka. My wife and I are like any other parents. We want the very best for her. But she and her friends will not be able to achieve those great opportunities if we continue to have a governor who has never made education a priority. A governor who has turned our state into a science lab trying to gain national acclaim. His experiment has put our state deep into debt. It's damaged our economy, and it has jeopardized the quality of education for an entire generation of Kansas kids. We don't need a red state model. We don't need a blue state model. We need common sense solutions that work for Kansas. Jill Docking and I will restore the cuts to our public schools, and we will get our economy moving again. We will use proven ways to grow our economy. No more experiments. The future of our state depends upon it. And I ask for your vote on November 4th so that we can restore Kansas together, because we must. Thank you for being here today.
Everyone, let's give a great round of applause. Our candidates for the office of governor in the great state of Kansas. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Gene. Nice job. Good questions. Thank you for asking the questions and hosting us.
Do appreciate it.
Thanks, Jim.
Governor, thank
appreciate
you.
it.
All done. Okay. Thank you all for coming. The sales session will start promptly at 1:30. We'd also appreciate it if you would fill out an evaluation and leaving it at the registration table. Remember, we'll draw one name that fills out a registration, and they'll win $100 in cash. Thank you all very much.
Life is defined by the choices you make. Setting goals, finding a mentor, choosing to swim and not sink, waking up with gratitude every single day, and expanding your horizons. This is a great way to become a bold leader and make bold decisions. And through that, you get a new outlook on life.
And we're speaking on choices and how choices define you. And I always say your mess is your message and your test is your testimony. And that's each of you guys. It's you, whatever that passion is, and your dream.
I have these goals, but I feel like I'm not really affecting anything. So then that brought me to my list that I made for you guys, the things that I feel like our generation needs and the things that I'm trying to fulfill in my own life. Our lives are like this little pinpoint on this giant continuum of the world and of everything around us. And we can't waste that life, you guys. We got one shot. We got one shot to be courageous, one shot to be passionate, one shot to be selfless. We don't get a redo. And those are our choices. We get to choose how we spend this life and how we affect other people.
I want to tell you a story, a true story. A year ago tomorrow, 1,000 people packed the high school gym at Ashland, Kansas for a basketball game unlike anyone had ever seen. Hundreds of women in these communities have received the opportunity for cancer preventive care because of the funds raised last year. They will survive because you showed up to play basketball. The original idea behind WePack was two towns would host a basketball game together, and pink and white uniforms. It'd be a girls' game and a few dollars at the door, and we'd use that money to pay for mammograms for women that didn't have access to them.
WePack was put together to provide the ability to get people the screening tests that you need.
WePack spelled out Wilmore, Inglewood, Protection, Ashland, and Coldwater, and that's what we are. We're not just helping the people in Ashland, we're not just helping the people in Coldwater, we're helping everyone.
Everybody in America is talking about the affordability of care, but rural hospitals face a second challenge, and that's access to care. Even if you can't afford it, how do you get to it? How far do you have to drive? And these towns, being hours away from the nearest major metro, are as vulnerable in that area as any.
What if we had an idea? What if we decided to have a basketball game?
He said he was going to have a pink and white basketball game.
We've, set back and said, well, we can use 3 recent graduates from each town, and then we can get some celebrity players. And with that, we realized, some of the biggest women's basketball names in the history of the game are right from these 1A small Kansas towns. And so we started with one of them, with Jackie Stiles, and she quickly said she was on board, and with that there was a snowball effect.
Jackie Stiles! Jackie Stiles!
And then players from Kansas, from Nebraska, from Missouri, from Iowa, from Notre Dame, from USC, from WNBA teams across the country, and they said they would come and help.
Starting forward for the WNBA's New York Liberty, number 40, Sydney Spencer.
All the money that is raised from this ball game goes to pay for the mammograms, the well woman exams, as well as colonoscopies. So without the ball game and all the work that the WePack Alliance ladies have done, all of this would not be possible.
Now we have the sources, the bus can come here. All you have to do is walk 3 blocks or I'll come get you.
Mammogram trucks that come out to your community make it just that much easier. You don't have to spend 2 hours driving somewhere where there's a fixed mammography unit. You can wait until the truck comes to town and have access. The mammogram itself just takes a few minutes to get.
And it's here every month. And so my goal is to make sure every woman in this community has a mammogram.
It's our grandmothers, it's our mothers, it's our aunts, it's our sisters, our cousins, it's our best friends, it's our colleagues. It does not discriminate.
Now that you've seen what 5 small towns are capable of doing to impact the country and take care of their local citizens, we need your help to tell that story to the rest of the country so that we can inspire other towns just like ours to take an active responsibility for their health.
Ashland is a strong community tucked away in southwest Kansas, where sunsets and good times are never taken for granted, where you can raise your family in a community that feels like family, and where cowboys aren't just a part of history, but a way of life. Come to Ashland and enjoy our lifestyle. Ashland, a lifestyle worth sharing.
I had pre-cancer. I actually had the cells that would become deadly cervical cancer, but I didn't get cancer. A simple test, a short, easy test saved my life. It's called the PAP test. I want to tell you this because you may have pre-cancer cells and not know it. And you won't know until you get sick or it's too late. And I don't want that. I mean, cervical cancer is totally preventable.
If you're a woman 18 or older, have yourself tested for pre-cancer cells with a PAP test.
Coldwater, Kansas, a home for a lifetime. Our modern hospital and outstanding school system, as well as public library, museum, and churches, provide everyone, young or old, the quality of life you've been looking for. Coldwater offers all of the amenities of a larger community, like shopping, dining, and recreation. And it's a safe and secure place to raise a family, with friendly neighbors and low cost of living. Find out why Coldwater, Kansas is a home for a lifetime. Protection, Kansas, a friendly community with a small-town atmosphere you're sure to enjoy. The bustling downtown area features a mural and gallery of the work of world-famous artist Stan Hurd, a Protection native. Families are safe and secure in a small-town environment. It's a friendly place where you know your neighbors. Numerous year-round activities keep active families busy, but there's always time to slow down and unwind. Protection, Kansas, a friendly community you're sure to enjoy.
With GTM Sportswear, be memorable.
We are Cox Brothers Barbecue.
Big brothers, big sisters.
Be united.
We are Lions. Freddy's.
Max Fitness.
Be a team.
We are Falcons. Meadowlark Hills Retirement Community.
In the boardroom or on the field, brand your team for success with
GTM Sportswear.
Let our dedicated team show you the styles, designs, and colors that will brand your team for success.
Coldwater, Kansas, the way life should be. Our beautiful lake, country club golf course, and outstanding outdoor recreation add up to an easygoing, enjoyable way of life. And affordable lakefront property is available now. It's an outdoor lover's dream with beautiful sunsets, brilliant night skies, and easy access to all the town has to offer. Visit us on the web to find out more. Coldwater, Kansas, the way life should be.
Your bra does not cause breast cancer. Not the underwire, not the straps, and no, size does not matter. And don't sweat it. Your antiperspirant is also not a cause. While those facts may not surprise you, here's one that might. Only 10% of breast cancer is hereditary, which means 90% is not. Now you can't change your genes, but healthier lifestyle choices can make a difference. Visit breastcancer.org for simple steps that could save your life.
The internet has drastically changed the way we communicate. Are you keeping up with the times? The Kiowa County Media Center can connect you with viewers in markets all over the region, the state, and the world. Our technology keeps us on pace with the high demand of internet video content. Bring your audience from anywhere in the world to your wedding, conference, sporting event, concert, and much more. No one does high-quality video streaming like us. We are the Kiowa County Media Center, leading the new age of communication.
The weather just seemed a little bit unusual.
The sound was just
You
deafening.
can hear and feel things just breaking up.
School was
above
gone,
you.
my church was gone, my town was gone. What are we going to do?
We could rebuild. We could start over and rebuild a whole community. Let's rebuild the town. Let's work together. Let's try to do it right.
The spirit of the community, we will rebuild.
Maybe we do have to do it different.
To be able to make a difference that can be felt for generations, it's very exciting.
Come and experience the story in Greensburg.
Over 40,000 deaths from breast cancer occur each year. Survivors are 3 times as likely of having a recurrence. Lend your support and learn more about early detection at www.cancer.org.
The reason I live in Ashland, Kansas, I love the outdoors and I knew I wanted to live in small town USA. And this is beautiful country. Here, I can own my own business, and so can my wife. Ashland provides my family with a safe place to live. No crime, no worries. Living life in Ashland, it's living life at its best. My name is Larry Conrady, and I call Ashland home. Take care.
Life is defined by the choices you make. Setting goals, finding a mentor, choosing to swim and not sink, waking up with gratitude every single day, and expanding your horizons. This is a great way to become a bold leader and make bold decisions. And through that, you get a new outlook on life.
And we're speaking on choices and how choices define you. And I always say your mess is your message and your test is your testimony. And that's each of you guys. It's you, whatever that passion is, and your dream.
I have these goals, but I feel like I'm not really affecting anything. So then that brought me to my list that I made for you guys, the things that I feel like our generation needs and the things that I'm trying to fulfill in my own life. Our lives are like this little pinpoint on this giant continuum of the world and of everything around us. And we can't waste that life, you guys. We got one shot. We got one shot to be courageous, one shot to be passionate, one shot to be selfless. We don't get a redo. And those are our choices. We get to choose how we spend this life and how we affect other people.
What is Rotary? Rotary is working together with common values and vision. Rotary is worldwide to eradicate polio, dig clean water wells, and save lives. Together, Rotarians grow local economies like ours, right here in Kiowa County. Rotary activities bring leaders together to combine resources for community success. You can be a part of the big picture. Support Rotary projects here and abroad. Join us. Place service over self. Together in Rotary.
Welcome to this final regular season matchup for the Kiowa County Lady Mavericks. They will be taking on the Mineola Lady Wildcats to end their regular season tonight at home. It is also senior night. There are 4 Maverick seniors that will be recognized with Hannah Brown, Maddie Cannon, Sydney Hedrick, and Latasha Tuttle. Kiowa County started the night really strong, beating Hodgman County 25-19, 25-19. Then they took a break, so they will be well rested to end their regular season. Kiowa County ladies have had a fairly inconsistent season as far as being up and down. They've won some really crucial games almost effortlessly, and then they'll drop another game that should have been easy. And so they are young, certainly, but they have the ability and the talent to go a really long ways even on Saturday with Sub-State. They will not have the brackets released for Sub-State until tomorrow. The last regular season game record plays into where they'll be placed. So winning tonight really does matter. And Kiowa County starts off this game with an ace serve from Nicole Ballard. Beautiful serve from Nicole Ballard. That's going to be a second ace serve. And I know Mineola's had a little bit tough of a year. They've won several games compared to last year when I don't believe they won any. They might have won 1. So they're not a winning team necessarily, but they have grown and they have improved. They have changed coaches over the last couple of years too. So Mineola just has 5 seniors, but I don't think they get a ton of playing time. It's a mixed group that actually plays on varsity here, so. Exactly. Yes. And Kiowa County's going to get a tip from Mineola with a setup for Mackenzie Heft, and that is tipped and going to be a kill for her, and they go out 4-0. And really, when you start to play teams that maybe can't compete with you in ability, you have to stick with that. Really work on your rotations, work on that bump set spike, because that's what's going to come back to do well on Saturday at Sub-State. Kiowa County pulls out to an early lead, 5-0. We want to recognize our sponsor with the Greensburg First United Methodist Church. They're going to be doing the Operation Christmas Child Shoebox. You can look for a donation box here at the volleyball game or at the football game on Friday, October 24th. You could bring hygiene items, small toys, or school supplies. And that is another ace serve for Nicole Ballard. I would say we're probably not going to get through many rotations in this game. Another serve from Ballard, and that time they keep it in play. That's Fallon Haynes on the set. And I believe, yeah, they're going to call that 4 hits there. Michaela Strucker, a junior for Mineola, was not able to clear the net on her hit. Ballard on the serve once again, and that time Mackenzie Heft was waiting on the net. You never want to set the other team up. You really dreaded those playing in high school if you accidentally were the cause of that. You can't do much about it. That was a rare error into the net by Mackenzie Heft. Serve from Taylor Pfaff of Mineola. And a soft tip from Hannah Brown sends it over, and Mineola is going to keep it in play with a free ball. A back set up for Hannah Brown, a senior. Nice connection on her part. Hannah Brown now on the set over to Heft. She sends it soft to the middle, and Pfaff keeps it in play. Oh, that time Ballard had to scramble after it. And as the setter, she's used to having to go all over the court for that second set. Soft tip from Mackenzie Heft. It is kept in play by Mineola. They send it to the back corner. Nice hustle from Morgan Powell, and another attack from Mackenzie Heft. That was really close to that back line. I think Mineola was hoping it would be out. Ashlyn Oberly is back to serve for Kiowa County. Fallon Haynes on the set, and that was a nice connection there from Michaela Strecker. She cut right to the right side of the blocker, found the floor for a kill. Mineola trails 9-3. Haynes on the serve. And Natalie Stewart with a nice approach. Oh, and Mineola players make contact in the front row. I think they knocked the wind out of each other. They were both going pretty hard. You can see here on the replay, they come across, oh yeah, they made solid contact on that. Maddie Cannon back to serve, a senior for Kiowa County. Being the last game of senior year, definitely get all those seniors in for play. Michaela Strecker is now back to serve. She was able to shake off that contact. Cannon keeps it in play. A tip over from Natalie Stewart, and Mineola picks it up. And that tips into the net from Christy McKissick. That is a senior for Mineola. It is really nice that they get to end on a game like this where they can comfortably play their seniors that don't see a lot of time. It's an ace serve from Hannah Brown, another senior for Kiowa County. They are already on there, yep. All four seniors on the court, and Hannah Brown sneaks it in the sideline there. Another ace serve. That's the hard thing about small schools or just athletics in general. You would hope to have all your seniors on the floor no matter what, but that's not always the case with the younger girls having so much experience playing. There's usually going to be somebody with a little bit more talent, so it's nice that they get to play together tonight. Exactly. And that's a bittersweet moment for them. You work so hard. And that serve was out of bounds. So serve from Natalie Stewart of Mineola. Both teams have their own Natalie Stewarts. Free ball sent over from Mineola. Set up for Janessa Zinger. Soft tip from Janessa Zinger, and that goes off of the arms of Madison Loddick. Allie Hochet on the serve. And out of bounds from Taylor Pfaff. Hochet is back to serve once again for Kiowa County. They have a strong lead, 16-5. Tip over from Oberly. And Pfaff on the hit once again. That drops right in front of Allie Hochet. Madison Loddick on the serve. Sydney Hedrick keeps it in play for Kiowa County. Hochet with a nice up to Lingenfelter, and Janessa Zinger handles that.
There's Janessa's powerful stroke again. We saw it last game. We'll see it again.
Morgan Powell is back to serve for Kiowa County, libero for the team. Back row attack there from Strecker, and a lift is called on Kiowa County. Haley Harrington back to serve for Mineola, and Kiowa County sends a free ball over. Haynes up in the middle with Pfaff, and that's going to be out of bounds.
Mineola's getting more of their system working though, the bump, set, kill, instead of just sending free balls to Kiowa County every time.
Exactly. It's certainly something that they've worked on, being good friends with their coach. I know she's definitely tried to instill the fundamentals to them, because that's when you change your coaching over the years, you aren't taught the same way. So you have to basically start over and then try to build a routine with them, and that's hard to do with seniors.
Well, and I think that's why Kiowa County's proven to be so successful year after year. Is the same coach. You know what to expect coming into practice day one. Everything's going to be the same. We just keep going.
And they're taught the same way in junior high, and that really pays off when these girls come in day one freshman year and already know what to do. Strecker on a strong cross hit. It's picked up by Morgan Powell. A dink over by Mackenzie Heft. And Fallon Haynes tries to replay that, but Heft is back with the block. Kiowa County is up 20-7. Ballard on the serve. We've gone one full rotation now. And Brown tips it lightly back over, a back set to Pfaff. And she connects really strong, but Powell's all over the place tonight. Another back set to Pfaff. Hochet is ready and waiting. And I think, yeah, that was considered 4 hits. The blocker was ready.
They had the look they wanted, just Mackenzie's timing just off just a little bit. But she sure swung hard, too.
Pfaff is now back for the serve. That time, Heft does find the cross court open. Madison Loddick tried to go after it, but she was too far to the right to swing around and be able to receive that.
It's good ball placement by Mackenzie. She saw that open court cross away from her and just put it right where she needed to go.
Ashlyn Oberly on the serve. Nice tip over from Hannah Brown. And Strecker once again from the left side, and that is out of bounds. She was a little bit too underneath the ball there. If you get on top of the ball, that's whenever it connects and goes straight toward the ground.
Also good decision by Morgan to let that one go just a little bit behind her. She knew it was going to be out.
Oberly on the serve. Kiowa County leads now 23-8. An ace serve. Oberly on the serve. And a free ball sent from Mineola. Kiowa County is going to try to take advantage from Hannah Brown. She sends it soft over. And Kiowa County was in the net. It's going to give the ball back to Mineola. This will be Fallon Haynes back to serve for Mineola. Set from Mackenzie Heft to Natalie Stewart. She has a left-hand tip over. And that is dinked out of bounds by opposing Natalie Stewart against each other on the net there.
How many times does that happen? You say exact same name on the opposite team. That's kind of funny.
Maddie Cannon is now back to serve. Hopefully game point for her team. Haynes with the set. And Natalie Stewart tips it back over.
Oh, I don't know that was that legal?
Yeah, she tipped it. She didn't lift it, so it might have been a little funny looking, but Kiowa County wins that 25-9, and we will be back to bring you game 2. Kiowa County Media Center bring you Kiowa County Sports.
Roll it.
Southern Plains Co-op in Greensburg is proud to offer Bayer Crop Science crop protection products. Chewing bugs, fungal diseases, and grasses needlessly kill or drastically limit corn and soybean production each year. Innovative Bayer Crop Science products control these unwanted intruders. That means increased yields for more grain in the bin at harvest. Let Southern Plains Co-op protect your crops with Bayer Crop Science products. At Southern Plains, we deliver service.
Welcome back to this exciting game between Mineola and Kiowa County. We'd like to take a little bit of time here and thank some of our sponsors. The Media Center truly does thank our sponsors for their support. First of all, Dwayne Shank Motors. They are proud to sponsor the Mavericks, and you can come see them. And they also think you would look good in a Chevy. You can find them at 620-604-9708 or dshankmotors.com, or find them on the highway at 40 East Kansas here in Greensburg. Also, People's Insurance is a proud sponsor of the Mavericks. They have home and auto insurance, farm, business, and crop. They always put their clients first, and you can find them at People's Insurance Kansas or ks.com, or contact them at 620-723-2809. People's Ins 1 at sbglobal.net is the email, or the physical address is 106 North Sycamore here in Greensburg. And of course, as always, the Kiowa County Health Department wants you to stay healthy and get your flu shot. Available now at the Kiowa County Health Department. You can find them at 211 East Florida Ave here in Greensburg. 620-723-3366. Go get that flu shot. And of course, as always, one more sponsor here, the People's Bank says, "March on, Mavericks." And they are a full-service banking. They are my bank, actually, so I'm proud that they're sponsoring this.
Mine too.
And Whitney says mine too, so that's pretty cool. And that you can find them at 620-723-2761 or at bellbank.com, or the physical address. Stop in and see that beautiful building there on the graphic at 102 South Oak, Greensburg, Kansas. Getting all set here to play. Mineola start off with the serve.
Game 2 of this match between Kiowa County Lady Mavericks and Mineola Lady Wildcats. If you didn't catch it earlier, Kiowa County defeated Hodgman County in 2 games, 25-19 and 25-19. They easily handled Mineola in game 1. And too close to the net there on the reception from Pfaff. Ballard back to serve. This has been a strong rotation for Kiowa County, which is why it's the leadoff rotation. Fallon Haynes is back to serve for Mineola. Score is 2-1 currently. And she serves into the net. Just didn't have good connection with that one. Ashlyn Oberle back to serve for Kiowa County. And we are going back and forth with the service errors here. Strecker on the serve. That's hard off the arms of Mackenzie Heft. Kiowa County tried to keep it in play, but it fell dead between the two players. And Mackenzie Heft tries to take it line. It is picked up by Pfaff. Morgan Powell picks it up in the back row, and a strong cross tooled off the arms of Natalie Stewart from Mineola. Kiowa leads 4-3, and senior Maddie Cannon goes back to serve for Kiowa County with an ace serve.
Nice, Maddie.
That's the thing about these teams that are so consistent across the board. When these seniors come in that don't get that much playing time, it's not because they're a bad player.
No,
they just are a little bit less consistent than somebody else that plays the same position. So they're obviously capable of playing well, as these girls are doing coming into this game.
Maddie's sure proven that tonight. And there's another great hit from Kiowa County, finding that far side line right on the line. John makes a good call over there.
Couldn't see it quite on camera, but he's done lots of line judging, so we can have confidence in his calls. That was out of bounds for Kiowa County. They still lead 6-4, but this is a much closer game than the previous.
If you want to talk about consistency in Kiowa County volleyball, it might be our line judges.
No kidding. They've been here for years, not just 4. A free ball sent over from Mineola, and Kiowa County keeps it alive. Nicole Ballard sends a back set over the net. It's Madison Loddick tipping it over to Kiowa County. Beautiful hit from Hannah Brown. She was a little back from the net, but she was able to get on top of that ball.
Yep, she found a good spot right there to put that ball in between all of them.
And Sydney Hedrick checks in on the front row. Hannah Brown back to serve, and all 4 seniors are in on this rotation. It's fun to see. Another ace serve. Seniors are delivering this game.
I think it has something to, I think you know that whenever it's your last time on a court like this, it brings it out of you to play your best.
Exactly. You don't want to regret it. Free ball sent over from Pfaff, and Brown tips it lightly over. Miscommunication from Mineola's players. Kiowa County leads 9-4. Brown is back to serve once again. A beautiful serve. Strecker picks it up and then has a back row attack to send it back over. Hedrick keeps it in play, and Tuttle sends it over. Haynes on the setup to the middle for Pfaff, and that was a really awkward rotation. She was trying to do a swing on it, but she had to come underneath and around the ball. It just wasn't a good placement, and that showed in the fact that it went out of bounds. Brown on the serve. 10-4 is the score. Mineola is going to win that point, and that puts Madison Loddick back to serve for Mineola. And she serves into the net. That puts Allie Hochet in to serve for Kiowa County.
Did she come firing off that bench or what?
She did come firing off that bench. She probably has some leftover energy from her 16th birthday yesterday.
Oh, man.
She also requested that I give that shout out, so.
And you did.
Can now tell her that I did so. Nice hit, reaching back from Janessa Zinger. And out of bounds by Mineola. The ball gets caught in. Oh, and let's see if Mr. jump up and get it. Maybe this has happened before, because out of nowhere, they pulled a stick that had a tennis ball on the end.
What that is that cleans little marks off the floor. I've seen Fulton doing it before the game. Yeah, it's a nice little tool to go out there and wipe off all those sneaker marks.
And knowing Mr. Fulton, that is not a surprise that he has such a tool on hand.
Yeah.
And a timeout is called by Mineola. Kiowa County leads 13-5 in this game too. We want to recognize our sponsor, the Big Well and Visitor Info Center, world's largest hand-dug well, museum and visitor center with exhibits of the history of Greensburg, the tornado, and rebuilding sustainable. You can visit them at 315 South Sycamore Street in Greensburg or call at 723-4102.
And that is such a beautiful building. I don't know if many of our viewers have actually been inside, but it is remarkable.
It's amazing.
It tells much more than the story of a big hole in the ground.
It really
Tell
does.
You what, I was just talking with Stacy the other day, and we were working on a commercial, and we're coming up with this motto. It's much more than a hole in the ground, because it truly is.
It truly is.
There's a lot to see in there.
It didn't used to be,
Nope.
but now the museum is really a neat thing to see and something to be proud of in Greensburg. Off the block of Ashland Oberly and back on Kiowa County's side, or not. Not quite sure what happened there. It looked like it was a point for Mineola, but Hochet's back on the serve, so Lingenfelter keeps it in play. And Zinger, I'm not quite sure how she's coming up with these hits right now, because she is all over the place. But it's working. Kiowa County now leads 15-5. Hochet is back to serve once again. See on this replay, Zinger pops it right in the middle there. And an ace serve from Allie Hochet.
She's really given good time to the Mavericks this year, coming in off the bench, serving as well as she does. I know it's not easy to just stand up cold and just start go out and serving, and she's done a well of a job this year doing it, just like that.
Another ace serve. And not having any varsity time before this year to come in and be ready to go and just do a really good job is awesome. Pfaff tips it over and catches Hedrick back on her heels. That's a hard one when you're shifting back thinking it's going to come further, and then you have to move forward. You could see on the replay there, Hedrick had just stepped back and her momentum was moving away from the ball.
That's a smart play on Mineola's part to be able to see that, recognize it, and make that quick decision to dink it.
Haley Harrington on the serve there, and that was number 10, Natalie Stewart, coming cross court, trying to keep the ball in play. Couple of substitutions for Mavericks. Puts Hef back in on the front row and Powell back to serve. 18-6 is the score. And a one-armed attempt at a save from Pfaff is off and finds the floor. 19-6, Kiowa County leads. Morgan Powell is back to serve once again. And again off the arms of Natalie Stewart and out of bounds. It's like she's just there a couple seconds too late. Powell on the serve, looking to finish these last 5 points. Nice up from Mineola's back row. Stewart sends it over, and Kiowa County reciprocates with a kill from Sydney Hedrick. And Powell back to serve again. Oh, barely over the net. Those are hard to defend. You can't guess what that's going to do.
If you could learn how to serve like that every time, or exactly when you wanted to, because if you did it every time, they'd start getting used to it, but that is an effective serve. So is that, though.
Exactly. Rolls off the arm of the back row. Powell's been incredibly consistent with her serving this year. She not only has power behind it, but it's a floating serve, so you don't even know where to receive it at. Strecker connects that time, but is out of bounds. She has a nice hit on it, but she doesn't get her connection quite right on the ball. It sends it out of bounds more often than not.
Mineola had a nice system on that. They got exactly what they wanted. They just missed it just a
This
little
is
bit.
technically season point for Kiowa County. That not only ends their match, it ends their regular season 25-6. Kiowa County goes 2-0 on the night. You might check on kshsaa.org tomorrow to see the sub-state assignments. They'll all be listed there. Kiowa County is going to be traveling to Spearville and will be playing on Saturday, and if they win, they will be playing at the state games, I believe, that are held in Emporia.
Usually are.
So it has been fun to announce Kiowa County volleyball for you this season.
It really has.
The one game that Director Grant Newhold announced with us, but we'll be back on Friday for the football game.
Let me just say, the reason I can do the announcing is because we have such an exceptional crew these days. I don't have to be in the trailer. I don't have to be a part of the production. And I just want to recognize some of our workers tonight. We have Reed Rhodes on game cam, Camille Soa on a high cam that you've seen, Tegan Ellingwood on a camera as well, Ellingwood on a camera up high. Ellinggood, sorry. I'm getting that wrong even. I apologize, Tegan. Josh Cannon is actually directing and running the switcher tonight. Jonah Soa running replay, doing an excellent job. Kay Hardinger, as always, on the graphics machine. We also have Ben Spainhour running audio for the very first time tonight. And our new friend, Ray, is running the score. So we've had a great crew. Whitney, as always, the voice of the Lady Mavericks on basketball and volleyball. So I appreciate everybody's hard work this year, not only in volleyball but in all sports. And it really makes a huge difference for me as the director to be able to step out of the trailer and know everything's going to be fine.
Sounds great. Well, catch back with us on Friday for the home Maverick football game. And kickoff is at 6:30 for that game?
I believe kickoff's at 7, but unless they move the time on me, I hope it's at 7 because that's what I'm planning. I don't know. I got to be honest. I don't know. I get the equipment ready, and when they kick off, we're broadcasting.
Sounds great. Well, this has been a Kiowa County Media Center production of Kiowa County Sports.
Thank you.
Okay.